guys, I've got the mic on because there's a lot going on here. The dog is snoring. My husband is out mowing the lawn and my daughter is baking. So I thought I would put the mic on to minimize all of that noise. And so at this very time that I'm doing this, my last video is airing live, and it would be a Monday, but both Morgan and I are getting sick. And so she just did reading today, and then just before, I think she's going to wipe out pretty soon, but she's baking, and I thought, well, I'm going to do a video in case I can't do one later, because I feel like I'm a couple hours behind her in getting really ill. So I wanted to make sure that I did a really interesting video, something that some of you had asked me to do. There were a few of you who were really interested in why my daughter and I use fountain pens in our homeschool and why it's specifically important to me. What's the deal with the fountain pen? And I had said I was going to do that video, but I'm not a fountain pen tutorial. I try really hard to keep it really tight with only homeschool videos. And so I thought that I would do that in conjunction with a flip through of my planner, because some of you had also asked for specifically a flip through on how we're using the traveler's notebooks. And I think those two put together would be really fun. And also, while I won't do a tutorial on a fountain pen, I will link some of the best ones, because there are people out there who have done them way better than I could. But I'm going to go through a few things to think about if you want to implement using a fountain pen in your homeschool, why we do it, and why specifically it's important to me in my homeschool. The main thing is there's tradition here, there's nostalgia, and I'm not very traditional, hardly ever. And this is one thing that I really am traditional in, and I thought I would share that with you. So I'll flip you around and show you some of the things that are going on, first with our traveler's notebook and how and why I use them, and then the fountain pen at the end. If you have multiple kids and you feel like you need to mark and track all of your work, this may not be big enough for you, but with one kid it works perfectly for me. This is really the ultimate minimalist's homeschool mom planner. There's tons of reasons why I wanted to use a traveler's notebook instead of a regular homeschool planner, and several reasons why I wanted to make my own rather than buy it. I don't like the punch hole where the band is in the name brand traveler's notebooks. It's in the back instead of right here along the spine. It's in the middle, so it's punched right here. So if I were to buy a real traveler's notebook, the hole would be here, and you'd be writing on top of this little nub here, and that's kind of annoying to me. So that's one reason why I wanted to make my own. And then I can choose my own leather. And if you don't like leather, you can do the same thing with faux leather or anything else you find that would be most appropriate for you. Morgan had chosen, and I took out her personal things so that I could walk you through this, and she had chosen a darker leather, and this one is much flappier and softer. I like this one a lot. We also enjoy making things with our own hands if we can and if we have the interest to do so, and this is a really, really, really fun and easy project to do with your kids. We can make our own book size too, so if you didn't want to do the traveler size, because the traveler's notebook, the traditional size, is lengthy like this. And if they have a passport size, which is smaller, so you can buy those. You can use any notebook. If you wanted to make one the shape and size of this, you could recreate it, buy your own leather, and make one that fits kind of a moleskin. And this is probably the same size. Yeah, that would fit that. Or you could even make a teeny tiny one. I've seen people with little teeny tiny ones, and that's kind of cute. With this style of planner though, no matter what you use, you can make it your own, and there are no extra pages. So everything that I have, I use. I only bought the weekly planner so that I could use it only for weekly planning, and I only bought the monthly book so I could use it for monthly planning. There's all sorts of books that you can purchase, and then you band them together like this. You have a band here, and you band them together so that they stick in your notebook. And I'll take it all apart and then put it back together. You can even, I actually have rubber bands this size, so if you wanted, you could just figure out the size of this. Well, in fact, I can just tell you what the size of it is. Let's see, should we do inches? Let's do inches. But I don't have my glasses on, so I can barely see. All right, so this is, let me see, 6 1/4. So it's about 12 1/2 inches long. And if you wanted to, you could just use rubber bands and that would be much cheaper. And because there aren't tons of unused pages in these traveler's notebooks for me, I really liked the School Nest planner I used last year, but even the Minimalist one that I used from theirs had too many unused pages. And also the paper for School Nest is rather low quality. And I think that's rightly to keep costs low, but I use a fountain pen and the paper here is a higher quality. So if I'm using a fountain pen, it doesn't bleed through as much. Let's see. It doesn't bleed through as much. And if I had used this fountain pen on the School Nest, it would have bled right through. It even would have sucked the ink right out of the pen. It would have encouraged it to come out more. And so that's kind of what I like about this here is I can use whatever pen I want. And with the other ones, it tends to be, you have to either use a pencil or the erasable pens because everything else bleeds through. And I can keep this leather forever, year after year. It develops a patina. And so here you can see the stain that I had mentioned before in one of my earlier videos. That was a drop of tea, or maybe it was water. And this was the cookie dough grease from my daughter's baking. And so it kind of develops a patina. You can see the line here of where the band goes. And I alternate between flipping this way and this way so that it gets the same amount. This way is lighter and this one is darker now because this has been face up longer. But I like that this allows me to, it just grows and changes over time and it'll get softer as well. And with this, while I can keep this for years and Morgan can keep hers for years, the books can be pulled out and stored. And one of the ways that you can store them is I purchased this specifically so I could show you guys. I wasn't going to buy one until I really needed it because we won't be putting these into our binder until they're all used up. But I thought I would show you the binder that they have. And you can buy these really cute little metal little stickies where you can place the year, whatever you want to write here, so that when you put it into your bookshelf, which we will do year after year, we can see each year and each folder. And so let's see, I'll try to put one of these in here. Here we go. And so year after year, you just put these away and file them and then remake your book. This planner is also super lightweight and portable. So when I travel, I can switch out books and journals or watercolor paper and be even more of a minimalist. But for travel, I may make a separate leather, so if I lose it, I won't be too sad. Like my favorite pen, this traveler's notebook may stay at home, and when we're away, I can use something else and I won't be in fear of losing it. Because these are customizable, and Morgan and I went online and we chose our own leather and we can make it our own, this becomes very personable. The customizability, but also it kind of develops nostalgia, much like a fountain pen. And so meanwhile, the notebooks become keepsakes and memories that I can place as binder volumes on my shelf. And I really like that. Morgan and I will each have binders and keep our memories. So I'll walk you through what we've got. It starts with, I have here, I bought a mini punch set for leather. This was just, I either pulled this on Michael's off of a shelf or I ordered it, but you can, do anything you like. You can order if you want. And then I couldn't figure out what to use here for elastic, and there weren't a lot of choices in the stores around here. So I ultimately, and if you guys like this stuff, I'll leave the links to the things that I purchased on Amazon so you can see. But I bought this for nothing. Well, the box came from Hobby Lobby, but all these elastics, they came in one set for just a few bucks. And so these happen to wear faster than the leather, but when they break, it doesn't matter because we can just switch out the colors. And, over time, we'll just change them out. Morgan's actually, she changed out, she had green and some other color for a while. Yeah, she's got green, and then she needed a new one. And so she chose blue. And so once you figure that out and you order your leather and you cut it and you punch it, and I'll post all of the videos that I used to figure out how to punch the holes. It really is pretty simple. Oh, and you need some kind of box cutter too, because the leather you get will likely be 12 by 12. You want to start with a 12 by 12. And then from here, it's exactly like a traveler's notebook. So you pick what you like. And here I use a weekly book. And I'll flip through everything once I put it in. And then I have, this is new. I liked Morgan's zipper case so much, so I bought one for me because I had been using, what I did was I just took a piece of paper, or the, what do you call it, the paper protectors, the plastic ones, and I cut the top off of it, and then I sliced this here, and then when you fold it, it turns into a little folder. And it had been holding stuff in here too, on the other side. I think I might put it in my traveler's notebook for traveling. So if I lose it, it's not the end of the world. And then I'll put the zipper case in here with my at-home book. Let's put it together, shall we? Okay, did that. Actually, I don't know where my other purchased band is. I think, yeah, I've got 2 more. So I made one out of this, which is fine. So this is pretty thick for me. I don't need everything all of the time, but I do have a junk book and then a more of a formal notebook in the back, and I can choose to keep that in or take it out. So there's the flap with the zipper on the other side, and that can kind of hold, I think, things so that they won't fall out. My favorite pen, and put something like that in there. My fountain pen in there. That makes it a little thicker, but that's okay. And then, so I always keep the weekly in front, and I've got stickies if I need, and little stickies here. And then here is, so the weekly book is only, it doesn't have enough weeks for the whole year. So I've decided to make 2 weekly books per year, and one for fall semester. And then at the end of December, when we're done with this semester, I'll buy another one and use that one for spring semester, or maybe half the year. This is for, yeah, I might do half the year, July to December, and then January to June. And here's where we are. And this is what I mean by my ultra minimalist method, because I don't actually need to write down any particular pages that we have to study, or we just know our curriculum, and I've only got the one kid. It's pretty simple. So we've kind of, and this changes, I just made this on Canva, and so I can go back in and change it anytime I like. If any of you are interested in this, I can leave a link to my Canva site where you can pull this as well and then make it your own. But this is what we generally do throughout the week. We haven't done history in a couple of weeks though, and that's kind of nice for me to remember, hey, we haven't done that. We kind of probably need to start doing that again. But there's the core at the top. So these are the things that I really want to make sure that we do. We always do our walk, we always do reading, we always do math, and all of our French. And then other things like this, we purposefully don't do unit studies on Tuesdays because we're just too full with gym and band. It's just too much in the afternoon. So every week we print one of these out and start again. And so for extra things over here, or stuff that doesn't happen every week, or maybe we're going to go to a play, or if we've got some kind of appointment, that can go over here. And it's fully, you can just add whatever you want. So this one is the monthly view. And this monthly book, I'll have one of these a year for every 2 of these. This will be for the full year. And in the front, I had decided to put our unit studies to keep track of them. They've already changed. And there's our travel school list, the things that we need for our totes, and I had that in a previous video. Here is our attendance sheet, and then each month. Now I made a mistake here because I covered exactly what we did for the month of August with summer school, and then when 5th grade started, and our Pembina dig for the Mosasaur when we were with the archaeologists, World School Prep, in the afternoons as a unit study, and then our local geography for under Waldorf for live education. And then here's where it got a little screwed up and I had to erase a bunch of stuff. So we did the ferret study PBL from Royal Fireworks Press, and then we took a break, and then we did the ferret study and finished it again. So here we are, we're actually here, and today's the 30th of September. But what I won't do from now on is I won't fill this in because I want this to be sort of a historic document for me. I won't fill this in until we've actually completed the week and where we're going, so it's accurate, except for the things that I know we're going to do and take off. National Cappuccino Day, that's a thing. It is to us anyway. And then the Thanksgiving holiday that we'll take off here and stay here. And I added in the pop-up bakery there. Our winter holiday and our half days that I already know that we're going to take. And then the rest I've left open. And here's where I need to work on linking these papers together a little bit better. But here's my junk book. And I wanted to give this as an example of, I made this out of just grid paper. You can even see how I cut it down. It's just junk. And I wanted to make one before this one had arrived. This is the formal one. And it's almost identical. Mine is clearly more of a mess. But this is the one that you can purchase. So it doesn't really matter. And I kind of like the junk book. But I don't keep these. I really do just junk these. I throw them away. These are for notes, things that I need to keep track of, and I do it, it's done, and then I throw the book away when I'm finished. Then here's the other side of this one. And Morgan had a really good idea of using her ruler and wrapping washi tape around it so that she could take this with her and it'll be flat. And hers is a ruler, which is kind of nice. I should probably switch mine out and use a ruler. And then when she wants washi tape on the go, it's also in her pencil case, but she has some in here as well. And then the zipper. It doesn't always hold in still because of the way I have it wrapped. And the thicker it gets, the more difficult it is. But this I don't use for traveling necessarily. It goes in my tote during the day if I'm going somewhere in the truck. But for long-term travel, I would really pare it down to something much thinner like this. I'd probably have a watercolor book, a sketchbook in here, and a journal, and that's it. And then probably the zipper case like with what Morgan has here. And then she keeps her little extras so that each day, I think I need to update these, or each week she just pulls one out and tapes it to her book. And this is the passport size. I didn't think that we really needed a full one, but this is the passport size traveler's notebook if you were to buy that one. And this is for stickers. And so Morgan can put stickers in here and peel them off whenever she needs to, and they're completely usable. I think that's really cute. So I thought having a little one in there would be great. There we go. Okay, now let's do the fountain pens. I've added a list of some of the videos that might interest you if you become interested in a fountain pen. Many are from Jet Pens just because they make so many simple videos that break down stages of interest to the fountain pen enthusiast. But I know a lot of you guys are just asking, what's up with a fountain pen? So I shall explain. There are a few things going on here that have not much to do with the actual pen, but that's because this is more of nostalgia for me and something that I think maybe we all in some way integrate certain things into our own homeschool that makes it even more unique than they already are by virtue of the fact that we're teaching our own children. So I thought I would show you mine. And let's see, I guess I should get some paper. Okay, so this will work. We'll see. I actually haven't written in this in fountain pen, so I don't know what it will do, but that doesn't matter. So this is kind of an array of things that you can do. No fountain pen. I mean, everything is different, but here is my oldest important fountain pen, and this is the one I don't travel with. It's a Visconti, and you can get your initials. There are little magnets in here. You can put your initials here. And some of them pop and some of them unscrew. So this one pops. And so you don't lose the top of the pen. This one unscrews. And you can seat it like that. And that has a medium nib. And this one sometimes has trouble writing in certain papers. And if I move too quick, do you see how it kind of skips? So I only use this for certain types of paper, and it skips a lot in this kind. I think the rougher it is, the harder it is for the Visconti to write. And that's kind of a flaw for like a really, really nice pen. But it is what it is. They're all different, and you have to choose which one you like and what's good for you. But these are really inexpensive, made by Uli, and I think these are by a couple of women in San Diego. I love these, except for, and they're really inexpensive. These came as a pair, so this one is mine and this one's Morgan's. But what really irritates me by Uli is that they, of course, like many other brands, have to have their own brand of cartridge, so that the standard international cartridge, they have two standards. One is the short, and then there's one that's identical except longer. It won't fit into either of these pens, just like the Kaweco here needs its own Kaweco. The Lamy that I have in here, let's see. The Lamy here it's a pop top, has its own cartridges. They do that just to make you buy their own cartridges. So if you're starting out, I would really, really, really encourage you to purchase a fountain pen that uses the international standard cartridge, either long or short, because wherever you are, you can buy these. You can't necessarily buy a Kaweco or a Lamy unless you order them online. So that's, to me, it's a flaw, and it's irritating kind of commercial aspect of fountain pens. But there are some where you can purchase a converter. So instead of a cartridge, you can put a converter in here and then buy ink in a bottle and draw the ink through the nib of the pen and refill it that way. So no matter what you do, that converter will take any kind of ink. Oh, this one's purple too, I think. So these Ulis glide really, really, really well. And they will give you all sorts of colored ink refills, the majority of which are relatively useless, I think, because they're too light. This is so light. And so this one's purple, and that's really great. But most of these, while I buy them as a group, most of these we won't even use. And so with Morgan's Kaweco, she can choose, they come in packs of 6, and she can choose whatever. I mean, there's hundreds of colors that you can purchase, probably just dozens in this pack, but this Kaweco that she chose is a screw top as well, and it's super short till you seat it here, and then it's a proper length pen. And I don't think Morgan really likes this pen. I think it was only maybe $15 or $30, but it's a really small nib. I like it because the ink comes out really well. Yeah, it's totally cool. I may trade her for that. And then you can tell the difference they're completely different, but these are kind of, if you look there, this one's smaller than this one, and this one's scratchier. If it scratches instead of glides, it may annoy you. It does me. All right, so our reasons. First, I super hate treating Morgan like a kid who should still be using pencils and crayons. I believe in putting a pen in a kid's hand around 4th and 5th grade and getting them used to using them and choosing one that glides for them and works for them personally. Morgan can always default to the pencil, of which we have many, but if she wants to write in pen, she should write in pen. It's one of the many ways I used to show Morgan I'm raising a future adult. We're beginning to grow out of the childish things that we used to have, and when I see a teenager walk through the airport with a stuffed animal, I'm pretty horrified. So this is my way of allowing Morgan to grow up and slowly be less childish than she was yesterday, and let her know that she can grow up with grace and skill, and that I'm behind her 100% of the way. And this is just my weird way of showing it. But we also like art, and a lot of artists I find use the Lamy pen. And I think, what is this, blue? Yeah, it's blue ink. So you can see this was green, purple, brown, and blue. And that's the Lamy pen. And a lot of artists use pen and ink, and since we are also doing art, I thought we would try to do art with this as well. And lastly, I get tired of throwing so much stuff away. We waste so much, don't we? And with a fountain pen, especially if you have a refillable cartridge, which we don't, we haven't had one. We're almost running out here. You can see as it comes out. Oh yeah, we're almost out, so Morgan, we can refill that. It's just my way of not wasting so much. That's all. Okay, you guys, I am starting to get sick, so I'm glad I did this. And I'm going to say goodbye for now, and I hope you guys are all doing really well. See ya.